television has provided us with unforgettable characters who captivate, inspire, and entertain us. However, not all characters leave us with warm, fuzzy feelings. Some personalities grate on viewers' nerves to the point of infamy. Today, I delve into and examine what makes these characters so irksome and why their antics frustrate audiences worldwide. This is Marks on Media, and today I'm ranking the top 10 most annoying and insufferable TV characters. Now, let's get into it.
Marks on Media.
Keep in mind that this list is annoying and insufferable, so I'm not putting straight up heinous and villainous characters on this list. There won't be antagonists or terrible people, but more of main and side characters that aren't supposed to be as terrible as they really are. There are also quite a few characters that people consider annoying that I won't add to this list because they're necessary and or funny enough to avoid my wrath. But before we get into the top 10 absolute worst characters, let's hit some honorable mentions. Randy Pearson, That 70s Show. Randy's addition to the show in its final season felt forced and unnecessary, alienating longtime fans. He was a new love interest for Donna after Eric took off, but he wasn't needed. Besides that, he really didn't bring anything to the show. He just served as a painful reminder that Eric was no longer there. John Redcorn, King of the Hill. John Redcorn's ongoing affair with Nancy Gribble, combined with his obliviousness to his son Joseph in most episodes, made him a divisive figure. There was also the back and forth of pretending to care about Native American culture so that he could guilt white people, and then immediately dropping that when it wasn't convenient for him. Jack from Supernatural. Jack's introduction for the last few seasons and his overpowered abilities disrupted the balance of the show, frustrating fans like me who felt his presence overshadowed the core characters. It's another issue of he wasn't needed, and he acted as an ex machina too many times, including the very end of the show. Besides that, the logic of his character just didn't make sense. Half angel and half human equals more powerful than God? Okay then. Now let's get into my actual top 10 list. Number 10, Andy Bernard, The Office. This one is so low on the list because the Nard Dog did crack me up quite a few times. Andy Bernard began as an amusing addition to the Scranton branch, but his character evolved into an unbearable mix of narcissism and insecurity, especially in the final 2 seasons. His constant need for validation, outbursts of anger, and cluelessness often disrupted the flow of the series. He was unlikable, then unlikable again. No consistency whatsoever. Andy's attempts at humor, particularly in the later seasons, felt a bit over the top at times, even for a show like The Office, making him a less enjoyable presence in an otherwise beloved ensemble cast. Number 9, Alan Harper, 2.5 Men. Alan Harper's parasitic tendencies and unending self-pity earned him a spot on this list. Living off his brother Charlie while constantly complaining about his misfortunes, Alan's character rarely showed growth. His hypocrisy and frequent manipulation of those around him made him one of the least likable elements of the show. Besides that, he's just an absolute pathetic wimp. He let women walk all over him, never put up a fight, and constantly allowed everyone to denigrate his profession as a chiropractor. Number 8, Lorelai Gilmore, The Gilmore Girls. She's fairly low on this list because she's very entertaining to watch and not entirely insufferable. Though Lorelai Gilmore is witty and quick-tongued, making her charming at times, her tendencies to make everything about herself wore thin over the years. Her inability to communicate effectively and dismissive attitude towards others' opinions often created unnecessary drama. While, as I mentioned earlier, she's undeniably charming at times, her selfishness left many viewers exasperated, besides the fact that she gave her parents an extremely hard time for checks notes, giving her a charmed life, wanting her to be responsible, and wanting to help her raise her own child because she was still a teenager when she got pregnant. Terrible people! Number 7, Ted Mosby, How I Met Your Mother. As the protagonist of How I Met Your Mother, Ted Mosby's romanticized view of love and constant whining made him difficult to root for. His self-absorbed narration and poor decision-making often left fans baffled. Despite his quest for true love, his pretentiousness and obliviousness made him one of the least favorite characters on the show. He tiptoed around with Robin throughout the entire show to the point of allowing his best friend Barney to marry her. Then, when they eventually got divorced and Ted's wife dies, spoilers, he goes back and gets with his best friend's ex-wife. Ted was undeniably the worst, most unlikable character on a show literally based around him. Number 6, Rory Gilmore, The Gilmore Girls. Yes, I've got both Gilmore Girls on here. Rory Gilmore started as a relatable, overachiever, and stereotypical girl next door, but her character's flaws became more apparent as the series progressed. Her entitlement, poor choices in relationships, and lack of accountability alienated many fans. And just like her mother before her, when her mom tried to help out and give guidance, she pushed her away and got nasty with her. By the time of the revival, Rory's behavior had reached new heights of infuriation, cementing her place on this list. This can all be summed up with 3 words: shut up, Rory. Number 5. Ray Baroni. Everybody loves Raymond. Ray Baroni's immaturity and laziness made him a frustrating character to watch. His tendency to avoid responsibility and his lack of support for his wife Deborah were recurring sources of irritation. He would bend over backwards for his mean, spiteful mother while demeaning his wife and downplaying her contributions. While his comedic moments occasionally shone, his perpetual whining often overshadowed them. Number 4. Skylar White, Breaking Bad. Skylar White often found herself at odds with the show's protagonist, her husband, Walter White. While some of her anger and her actions were justified, and I can give her a little leeway, her sanctimonious attitude and indecisiveness frustrated viewers. She went back and forth with Walter and the money, she cheated on him, and she was just flat out annoying. Her inability to take decisive stands made her a polarizing character in an already tense narrative. Number 3. Ezra Fitz, Pretty Little Liars. Ezra Fitz's relationship with Aria Montgomery crossed ethical boundaries, making him a controversial figure, to say the least. He knew it was wrong, and instead of standing up and telling the much younger, much more immature high school girl that they needed to avoid each other, he kept it going, creating issues for himself, Aria, and Aria's parents. Beyond that, Ezra's brooding demeanor and questionable decisions made him a less than enjoyable character. His manipulative tendencies and hidden agendas, investigating A through Aria and her friends, further diminished his appeal to audiences. Number 2. Lori Grimes, The Walking Dead. Lori Grimes' inability to make rational decisions in high-stakes situations made her a liability within the group. Her frequent disregard for others' safety and her hypocritical behavior alienated fans early on. Lori's poor communication and questionable parenting decisions solidified her reputation as one of the most aggravating characters on television. On top of that, she held Rick back like an anchor and guilted him repeatedly. And also, without even going to check on him, she assumed her husband was dead and then immediately jumps into bed with his best friend. If Rick was dead, his body wouldn't have even been cold by the time she was seeking comfort from another. Lori just sucked. And number 1, Christina Yang, Grey's Anatomy. Christina Yang is brilliant and ambitious, but her arrogance and dismissive attitude made her insufferable. Her inability to empathize with those around her and her condescending behavior often overshadowed her undeniable talent. While she's a fan favorite for some, others, like me, found her unlikable and abrasive. She not only didn't know how to empathize with people, but she had zero sympathy, the worst bedside manner you could ever see, and she'd put down anyone she felt wasn't as intelligent as her, which was pretty much everyone. She was a nasty, nasty character from start to finish on the show, and I honestly didn't understand how she had any friends whatsoever. These characters remind us that even in well-loved shows, not every personality strikes the right chord with audiences. Whether due to poor decision-making, grating personality traits, or questionable story arcs, these individuals have earned their spot on the list of TV's most annoying and insufferable characters. Despite their flaws, however, they often add drama, humor, or conflict that keeps viewers engaged, even if it's through gritted teeth. Comment with your thoughts on all of this. You agree with my list? Why or why not? And are there any characters that I missed that you would include? Let me know down in the comment section. Also, please share this video around to everyone you know, and don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click the little bell to be notified every time I post brand new content. This is Marks on Media, and I'll see you next time.